Britain should focus on building strong conventional armed forces rather than obsessing over nuclear weapons, SNP leader Nicola Sturgeon has said. But Scottish Tory leader Ruth Davidson claimed a post-election deal between the SNP and Labour could jeopardise the country's defence. Scottish Lib Dem leader Willie Rennie will use football analogies to boost the morale of his troops in Edinburgh. And Scottish leader Jim Murphy will pledge to fight for working people. It comes as a group of former military officials warned in a letter to the Times that not renewing the UK's nuclear deterrent would be irresponsible folly which could threaten the survival of our nation. On Tuesday, Labour's Shadow Defence Secretary Vernon Coaker said his party was committed to renewing all 4 Trident submarines, which are based at the Faslane base on the Clyde, if it wins the election. Better future. The Conservatives have also committed to renewing all 4 missile submarines, while the Liberal Democrats favour cutting to 3. The SNP, Plaid Cymru, and the Greens want Trident to be scrapped. UKIP has said it would not scrap Trident, but would consider cutting back to 3 submarines. Speaking to BBC Breakfast, Ms Sturgeon argued the £100 billion which would be spent on a Trident replacement over the next 30 years could be better used on improving healthcare, childcare, education, and building a better future for our children. She said, "What I believe we need are strong conventional forces, and I believe conventional forces have been compromised because of the obsession with Trident, which I think is a status symbol rather than a device to genuinely protect the country. There are about 200 countries in the world and 190 of them don't have nuclear weapons. Britain is an island nation, a maritime nation, and yet Britain doesn't have a single maritime patrol aircraft. When Russian submarines were thought to be patrolling in our territorial waters a few months ago, Britain had to call in other countries to check that out." Ms Sturgeon was speaking ahead of an event in Glasgow, where she will tell businesswomen that the SNP will seek to bring progressive policies to the whole of the UK. Elsewhere on the general election campaign trail, Scottish Conservative leader Ruth Davidson is due to drive a tank in Dundee, where she will pledge to do what it takes to ensure that our defences remain strong over the coming years and that our troops have what it takes to do their job. Ms Davidson said, "No more sending our armed forces into conflict without the proper kit, as we saw in wars past. We will protect spending on aid so that we can continue to help those struck by disaster or poverty. And we will renew our Trident submarines so that Britain is protected in an uncertain world." Meanwhile, Scottish Lib Dem leader Mr Rennie will give a team talk to 11 football players representing each of the party's Scottish seats. Transform Scotland. He will criticise SNP spending plans and Conservative cuts. And Mr Rennie will also highlight his party's pledge to give £800 million extra funding to the NHS in Scotland. His Scottish Labour counterpart Mr Murphy will say the SNP would use any general election success to push for another independence referendum. Mr Murphy will tell pensioners in Yoker that Scottish Labour would focus on improving the lives of working Scots. Mr Murphy will say, the SNP want to spend all their time and energy working for another divisive and time-consuming referendum. No pensioner living in poverty will be helped by another referendum. No family will see their wages go further with another vote on independence. Labour will transform Scotland and the whole of the UK, by abolishing exploitative 0-hours contracts and increasing the minimum wage to at least £8 an hour. The way to get a Labour government that won't seek to divide Scotland with another referendum is to vote for Labour. A vote for anyone other than Labour risks the Tories being the largest party across the UK and David Cameron walking back into Downing Street. Voters across the UK will go to the polls on May 7.